To understand what is going on today, it is absolutely necessary to understand the history of Auroville. Because what is happening today is immediately related to what happened here 50 years ago. So without understanding the fight with the Sri Aurobindo Society, it's not possible to understand what is going on here today, because the same people are fighting over the same things. So, when Auroville started, when Mother started Auroville, Auroville was officially administered by the Sri Aurobindo Society. She had created the Sri Aurobindo Society because people had asked at one point to propagate Sri Aurobindo's teachings and philosophy all over the world, and at the same time to do some fundraising so that the ashram would get some income through that propagation of the thoughts of Sri Aurobindo. Mother had agreed to it. She had created a society for it, but mainly to get to have a legal body that could accept the donations that would come from abroad towards the ashram. So it existed already before Auroville, before she even thought of Auroville, and even the symposium that the Sri Aurobindo Society held was in fact the beginning of Auroville, somehow of the thought of Auroville, the concrete planning of Auroville. I'll make a different video about that. So, when she started Auroville, one of the main things was fundraising, and in order to get international funds for Auroville, she would have had to create another kind of legal body, which she didn't do. So she had already the Sri Aurobindo Society, and she used that body to receive the donations and funds that were coming in for Auroville. Hallelujah. So, because of the Sri Aurobindo Society being legally the body through which the donations and funds for Auroville would come, the Sri Aurobindo Society got more or less the administration of Auroville. Mother herself was the president of the society, and Shyam Sundar and Avajata had two big roles in it. Now, everything went quite okay. Well, no, not okay, but anyway. So, but that was the legal administration of Auroville was vested in the Sri Aurobindo Society. The people who would come to live in Auroville would have to be accepted and go through the hoops of the society. So at that moment, Mother was still in her body, so there was no real issue, because the people of the society would propose and discuss everything with the Mother. Shyam Sundar has very famous within Auroville and the ashram, notebooks in which he wrote down everything that he discussed with Mother about Auroville. So we have a lot of information there. And also in the agenda and other places, Mother said many things about Auroville, and it's very clear that she had extremely high expectations and ideals when she started Auroville. But once the Aurovillians actually came and were here, and she noticed that everybody was complaining. I mean, all of these people, Roger was complaining, Satprem was complaining, Shyam Sundar was complaining about the level of the Aurovillians. The fact that they were not doing at all what everybody had expected these Aurovillians to start doing. So Mother, in fact, if one really reads through it, it is clear that Mother herself more or less considered the actual first Auroville embodiment a kind of a failure, because the people were absolutely not doing what she had expected them to do, and she started saying more and more that people should stop lying, people should be sincere and just do things, and she figured out that people were just hanging around here and living it up. Because indeed a lot of the early Aurovillians, specifically the Western ones, were hippies who were not really coming towards Auroville to build Mother's dream, but were people who were running away from a society they didn't like, they couldn't stand. And so they ran away from that to a place where they found the freedom to build their own dream. They didn't necessarily subscribe to Mother's dream. They didn't necessarily subscribe to the galaxy plan. But they came here and they saw the reality of the fact that the galaxy plan wasn't built yet, that there was immense freedom to do whatever they wanted, and so they came towards that instead of coming towards Mother's dream.